to hear it. Please start clapping and cheering and welcome to the stage your host, Daniel Muggleton. Thank you. How you guys doing? You good? So nice to be here. Best of the fest on a goddamn Saturday night. What's going to happen is there's going to be a bunch of acts on this stage. They're going to do short snippets of their full show, and then if you like what you see, you go see the full show. Does that sound good? Someone just said no, really audibly there. Fuck, that's a terrifying start. The audience is like, I'm fucking in charge, mate. You dress like a PE teacher, I don't respect you. Okay, that's fine, if that's how you want to play it. So yeah, that's how it works, that's the system. My name is Daniel Muggleton, I'm the host of the show, and it is very nice to be back here in Sydney because I'm a Sydney person. Who is Sydney people? Hell yeah, dude. I was just down in Melbourne doing things down there, and this thing with Melbourne, right, is that they hate Sydney. That's like a big part of their personality, but they act like we don't hate Sydney. You know, that's the weird thing. Like I hate Sydney way more than them. I fucking live here, right? Like, you crazy? Like, the only reason I live in Sydney is to be close to my parents, Wills. Like, that's the only reason, you know? I'm an only child, but you can't be too careful, right? What if my divorced parents find love again? No. That sounds like a division of assets to me, right? Let's not be too careful. Thank you for appreciating that joke, most of you. Some people in the front didn't, but I can see them, and, you know, they've got self-managed super funds. They don't like that joke, you know? That joke hits a bit close to home for them. But remember, they own that home, so fuck them. You know, like, I don't have a huge amount of sympathy, to be honest. I'm like in this back corner over here because my target demographic is tenants, you know? And you guys look like a fucking sharehouse convention. You're like, I actually live with less people than are in this room right now, right? That's kind of never paid a water rate in your fucking life. But no, it's good. It's good doing this and going around. Like one thing, like the UK, the US, and Australia are very similar countries, but as audiences, like we behave a bit differently. I've noticed, right? Like, cause like who here is Australian? Yeah, that was probably about the upper limit of Australian enthusiasm. Huh? Do you guys feel it? You know, like 20 people fucking giving it a go. Like, Australian audiences are weird. They're here for you, but not there for you, right? Like, it's a very... They're kind of like, I bought a ticket, cunt, now it's your turn. Actually, like, I just finished work, maybe you should start. You know, like, that's how Australian audiences behave. There's also more Australian people in the room that answered that question. It's just that Australians don't like to divulge information about ourselves at any time, right? We're a former prison colony, and that's snitching. You can't be too careful, right? Any Australian people in? Fucking prove it, dog, right? Like, we don't like that. Whereas, like, what about the British? You got British people? Yeah, look, spread out as they tend to. Yeah, that's their vibe. That was British enthusiasm. That was nice. That isn't the usual sound they make, though. The British make this sound when there's a bunch of them in a room. It's like any British people, and they make this noise, which I love. They go, way, like that, right? You know that one? You know that sound? Yeah, I like that because to me it sounds like a woo that's passed away, you know? And is now kind of haunting the venue. And I like that for British people because that's a good metaphor for the British Empire, you know? Because it was going better, but it is still around. And do we have any Americans? Good. Like, wow, okay. No Americans in. That's nice, isn't it? It is nice, because, like, think about it. When there's an American in a room, everyone feels a little bit less safe, don't they, you know? When there's no Americans in, you're like, we'll be fine. But when there's an American in, you're like, we'll see. Like, who knows? This comedy show could take a turn. This is my theory about Americans, right? I think they like their politicians more than Australia likes our politicians, right? And the reason I say that is because I'm a Super Bowl guy. Like, I watch the NFL. I watch the Super Bowl every year. And during the Super Bowl, they bring the president up on the big screen in the stadium, right, during the game. And when Americans see their president, they clap. They, like, clap and cheer. They're excited to see them. Why is this blowing everybody's mind? Like... Have you guys ever seen an Australian sporting event, right? What happens when we bring the Prime Minister up on screen? Yeah, we boo. We want him to know that we fucking hate him, you know? We're very annoyed to be reminded he exists, right? That's the thing in Australia. Even though we probably voted for him, we're like, fuck off, mate. You know, this is my time. This is where I go to forget about you. You're the front of the paper. This is the back. Fuck off, mate. You know, like, that's... We don't like, there's only one Prime Minister Australia didn't boo, and that's Bob Hawke, because he figured out the system, right? Yeah, people clapping already, being like, this is our guy, right? Because they bring him up on the screen and we'd want to boo because it's the Prime Minister, but then Bob would start sculling a beer. And we have to cheer that, you know? That's part of the Australian Constitution, I'm pretty sure. I haven't read it, neither have you. And I just don't think we like them, which is why we don't try to protect them. Like, think about how much security an American president gets. Like, imagine the American president was here giving a speech right now due to some kind of horrible booking error, right? There would be Secret Service lining this stage, ready to jump in front of a bullet just in case someone takes a shot at the president, right? Now, imagine the Australian Prime Minister's here. First off, he'd be like, great turnout. You know, this is way more people than usually turn up. You know, this is very exciting. Can you think of a single Australian police officer who'd jump in front of a bullet for Albo? They'd be like, fuck that, mate, we'll get another one. You know, we don't like them. We don't try to protect them. John Howard went for a power walk every morning, and to attack him during that power walk, I think you just had to walk faster. I think that's the only hurdle you had to overcome, right? And if you put a hurdle down, that'd probably do it. You know, he's a 65-year-old man. He's not clearing that. You know, you walk up to the hurdle, and he's like, oh, look, a hurdle. Then you stab him, you know? Because you banned the gun, so you got to commit a more intimate murder. I'm just saying, it's a different thing. An attack on the President of the United States of America is an attack on America. An attack on the Prime Minister of Australia is an attack for Australia. Well, cheers, mate. We didn't like him either. And then we get to find out who the deputy is. That's fun. Like, nobody has that information now, but if the Prime Minister passed away, we'd be forced to check. You know, we'd be like, oh, there's a 12th man, get him in here. That's exciting. Australia's only ever lost one Prime Minister when they were in office, and we fucking lost him, didn't we? Harold Holt went for a swim one day, never came back, and we just stopped looking. Isn't that crazy? As a nation, we were like, should have stuck to the flags, brother. Like, I don't know. I think it's kind of on you at this point, right? And then how did we commemorate our Prime Minister drowning? We named a pool after him. Has there ever been a more sarcastic memorial than that? That's a real thing, the Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Pool. Don't worry, they keep one lane empty out of respect. You know, that's where Harold's swimming. Look, you guys seem absolutely warmed up. I've got a bunch of great comedians for you. You ready to go? Yeah. Ready to do this thing? Thank you so much. When I bring the acts to the stage, clap them all the way till they hit the microphone. They're all hilarious. They're all doing shows at the festival. You're going to love it. So ladies and gentlemen, start clapping, start clapping, start clapping. Add a little bit of cheering, add a little bit of cheering. Stomp your feet, go crazy for your first act, Luca Muller.